Hello everybody and welcome to the NBL1 show. It is grand final week. Geelong, Kilsyth, Nunawading and Bendigo, the four associations, to strive for NBL1 glory on Saturday night. Plenty to get into. I'm Cameron Luke. Get involved anytime you like at NBL1 on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And I am joined remarkably by a man who has been running scared because he's given a lot of motivation to a lot of different teams this year, but he's back for the biggest show and the last show of the year. Liam Santamaria, before we welcome a very special guest. Hello to you.
Hello, good to be back.
Where have you been?
I've been out and about, and not on the desk, but I'm excited to be back for grand final week. Two big matchups coming up.
Yeah, going to be a huge night on Saturday night. We're going to start with the Kilsyth women, who were brilliant against Nunawading. The big win over Bendigo a couple of weeks ago. In my home prelim. Nicholson, firstly, congratulations to you and welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
What's grand final like? Well, you actually used to it in all levels, but it's still exciting?
Yeah, really exciting. We're all really looking forward to it. Couple of trainings this week, getting ready and prepared for the weekend, but no, we're looking forward to the battle against Geelong.
I'll come back to you. Big Dain, Swetalla, Nunawading Spectres had to do it the hard way. A loss in the first week, knocked off Geelong, then went to Ballarat last week and silenced the Minor Dome. Congratulations to you, mate. Big grand final, second year in a row for the Nunawading men.
Yeah, our philosophy hasn't changed. It's the same core group of guys that we've had, and it's when you have that much of a focus from the start of the year, it's in that bitterness of a taste, and then you keep the same core group. I mean, it's the motivation to return back to this point is all there.
Tell you what, Liam, already I can see the cliches just coming out of Dane's mouth. Plenty to get into over the course of the next
I'll try to limit them today
as well. But let's have a look at the highlights. What a big weekend it was. We'll start with the Kilsyth women. Nunawading had battled through to the final, or the second last weekend, after a big win the week before. But in the end, your girls talk us through it because you're outstanding from the tip, and in the end, a 23-point win.
Yeah, look, I think a couple of players really stepped up on the weekend. I thought Cara did a really good job for us in the point, hit a few massive shots, especially early in the first half. And also Big Boothie, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, she's found some form late in the season, which has been nice to see. And hopefully she can continue that because ultimately we need her if we want to win. So
it's remarkable that ever since your coach called us out on the PA after the last game, we've just been filled with Kilsyth women on the desk, and we love it. And we're actually taking credit that you've got all the way to the grand final because of the continual presence on the show. Did you notice at all any type of rust having the week off? Although it was a little bit different, of course, because of the men's, but having the game off while they played two last weekend. Do you think that played into it at all?
I actually think it was better for us. We have a couple of older veterans on our team that I think really enjoyed that Sunday off and get their bodies right for the next weekend. So, yeah, I think it was favourable for us.
Well, you won by 23 points, I'm guessing you're probably right.
Lauren, your match up with Maddie Garrick, how'd you enjoy that?
Oh, she's tough. She's definitely a tough nut. Love Maddie away from the court, but we definitely go at it. And she's just a flat-out scorer. I know she scored a couple of big shots right in my face, and I thought, well, nothing you can really do about it. But no, I love playing against her. It's always a good battle.
You guys have won 8 in a row, leading the last part of the regular season and then marching through the finals. What's been the secret to that success in the second half of the year?
To be honest, probably just a good bunch of people. I knew that we could put it together finally at some stage. Definitely started out a little bit rocky, but I think just getting along with everyone, we have a lot of fun. I think that's the most important thing leading down the stretch and into the finals. And
you're going to take on Geelong, who are the number 2 seed. And, of course, after that wonderful win you had a couple of Fridays ago in Bendigo, the 1 and 2 seed played in Geelong, Bendigo and Geelong on Sunday. And it was Geelong who really had a double-digit lead for most of the game. But Bendigo, as you kind of expected them to do in the fourth quarter, came flying back and gave themselves an opportunity. You've only played them once this year. And it was a loss. What have you made of Geelong?
Yeah, we did play them earlier in the season. It was a battle. It was a really physical game. They are a young side. They get up and down the floor pretty well. And we just need to stop their big girls. I mean, Zatina and Ezzy are both having a pretty good season, and they're tough. But, I mean, if Boothie and Aldowny can come to play, yeah, I think that we'll be in with a shot.
Is that your phone?
Is that?
Oh, come on, Dain.
That's not mine. Mine's right
Is
here.
that yours?
That's
all right.
Coach
There you go.
Just trying to make sure the messages are getting...
No doubt. No doubt.
You talk about Ezzy and Zatina and the need to slow them down. How do you do that?
Oh, look, Ezzy, she's long. She can score the ball from mid-range. She can get to the basket. I think if we can just use our smarts to our advantage, not get in early foul trouble, yeah, that'll be massive keys for us.
We skipped past we haven't talked about Bendigo, but we also skipped
Lauren's
past.
phone was ringing. I was very distracted.
We skipped past Nunawading. That Nunawading team, Dain, I mean, Kilsyth sorted them out, especially in that second half the other night. But overall, what's your take on their season, and how much did they miss Izzy Chilcott down the stretch?
Conversations with Paul Flynn quite a bit. She's 1 week away from being cleared, so that's a little bit of a salt in the wound there for him, and I know for the girls especially. She's the alpha on the team. I know they have a ton of different weapons and threats and some veteran leaders mixed in with all their youthful kind of energy and talent. And I know that didn't affect them. They still get into the game with the same mentality, but it's just it hurt. I know it hurt not having her as part of the team, and I know she was gutted not to be able to be out there, especially 1 week away from being so close.
And who was your pleasant surprise on that team? Maybe not the MVP necessarily, but the player you thought maybe had the best season in one way or another?
Well, a lot of the girls, I didn't get a chance to watch much in Youth League. The one that I've never seen play before, but was just awestruck kind of with her footwork and how she played, was Cass Shear. She kind of gets, she gets poked at by some of her girls about having only one or two moves. I mean, her dribble spin, but it's her footwork and what she does and kind of how she is around the club and her energy. It's just like she's an extremely positive person. I mean, she's tough as nails every time I'm watching a training session because they train opposite court of us. She's involved, and it looks like so much in terms of her decision making. So she was fun to watch this year.
Let's go to the men's, because there was two huge prelims. We're going to start in Ballarat, where Dain, Swetalla and the Nunawading Inspectors went on to take the number one seeded in the last ever game at the Minor Dome. And if you've played basketball in this state, odds are you've played on this court. And straight off the top, the first 7 points for you, Dain, and you just took the crowd right out of it playing the way that Nunawading play your ball.
Yeah, we know every scout that somebody's going to go on to is going to be tuning in on how to stop Simon, how to stop Shane, how to control that side pick and roll that we look to do. But when we get other guys kind of going early, when Tommy starts things right off the back, when I think get things going, it's tough for teams to, okay, you prep and plan for this all week, and all of a sudden we hit you with something else. And you could tell that they didn't have an answer for anything that we did. Our offense is designed for, at any given point in the night.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. That's why his nickname's Daggers.
Yep.
We call him Daggers because every year since I've been involved in this team.
Actually, sorry to interrupt again, but this is bigger. Talk us through that, mate.
Oh, it's, credit to Fox. He had a battle, basically. He's played almost the entire game, and he's got me on the floor, and then he's got, an NBL Lucas Walker coming in off the bench. And that's what you got in back-to-back matchups with your subs. So, he held his own, and he's a hell of a player. I like him off the court. He's a really good dude. But I know that all game that he was kind of squaring me up, he was, he's pushing me to certain ways, and as soon as Simon lifts up to that kind of mid-post range, I saw him kind of drag that weak side help up, and his footwork was kind of exposing that baseline side. So it was just rip and go and just go strong with the finish.
We've seen some of the images after that game, Simon Conn with his arms out. Speaking of some of the people involved in the team, what was the atmosphere in the locker room? How much of a stirring victory was that for the club?
We needed a win like that. Again, you'll talk about all the cliches, and I say it, and you know that we are a veteran team, but there's times that we almost lose that enjoyment factor. That's why I love having some of the youthful guys around us that keep that excitement, that we go about so many things in our training and our games where it's like it's business as usual. You get the win, you sing the song, on to the next week, here we go. Where it's guys that have been in it so long, but that one, that felt different. That felt like that was a gutted win. That was just, I don't know, there was a different feeling, there was a different atmosphere, and it was chilling to be in that locker room at the end of the day.
You took the crowd out of it. I did the commentary for the game, and prior to it, I thought that veteran again, but the way you play basketball was probably a team that could handle. There was a Big V grand final on before that Ballarat had won, so the emotions were high, last ever game in the stadium, and the crowd were ready to go. Yeah. Fox used to 3 off the start, and then for the next 6 or 7 minutes, you just took them out of, and the crowd's totally out of it. But then they make that run. They take the lead halfway through the fourth, a big 3 by Jerry Evans Jr. What goes through your mind there? Do you still have the belief that you've got the team structured down the stretch to handle when they're running at you like they were?
Yeah, Evans hit that 3 in the corner, ran straight past the bench. I think there's like a minute 45 to go. And then we run that play where it kind of things broke down, and we were down 68, 67. Gets kicked off to Mack in the back of that corner there, up at that 45, and just that big of a shot that he took. That's where professionalism. That's where confidence comes into play. That's where, I mean, his nickname on our team is Daggers because he hits that shot at that moment when you need it the most, whether it be that floater or that pass or in this situation, that three. And him hitting that shot just reignited our belief, because they make the run, they take the lead, and all of a sudden it's just that shot just sucks the air out of the building and it just kind of reignites you. So, that was a shot that probably could have saved the game for us. Because if he misses that, they go down, hit one more, and then you're scrapping back with like a minute. You got to play foul game. So, that shot was the biggest one of his lengthy career.
He did give the silencer too to the few of the guys in the corporate box there as well, which I like.
Those moments though, those possessions down the stretch in that kind of game, that's why Nunawading, now hindsight's a beautiful thing, that's why the Spectres team was always going to be in the thick of things down the stretch this season. You could see it from not only because they had these veteran guys, but they've been doing it together. Yeah. They've been in those moments together over a number of years, and they have that trust in each other in those moments, but they also have the knowledge of where the ball's going to go, where you need to be when someone's about to make a play. They've been in the trenches together, and I think that's going to hold them in very good stead on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's why you tipped them to win the grand final in the pre-season show?
Correct.
There you go. All right, the other prelim in Frankston, sold-out house, and looked amazing, obviously, in Ballarat, but that joint was rocking, and Bendigo come in for the third straight week. They'd already knocked off Melbourne, they knocked off Kilsyth, and they came in here, and again, Bendigo just played the game. Muo was outstanding. Ray Turner struggling a little bit of the hamstring injury, but Burton, who's had an outstanding final series as well. This team, again, got the momentum, Liam Santamaria, and really ran a Frankston team that had ran everyone else in the second half of the year off their legs, and they did the exact other thing. That's huge. I knew that was coming. They did exactly what Frankston had been doing, back to Frankston.
Mate, you got to hand it to this Bendigo team.
Yep.
They're in the championship game now, coming from 8th spot, and no one expected them to win this game. Obviously they had a couple of fortunate things go their way in the playoffs prior to that.
We love strength this year. Liam, I don't know if you picked up on it. Yeah, you have, yeah.
Hold on. No Dain against Melbourne.
I know.
No
Smith-Milner.
No Smith-Milner against Kilsyth. Okay, so they're big outs. But for where this team how they've progressed over the course of the year, I saw them earlier in the year go down to Ballarat, having lost the night before at home to the Centre of Excellence very early in the year. And I thought, I don't think we're going to see this team in the mix down the pointy end of the season. And they brought in Muo. They sorted out the roles. They put Burton handling the ball, running the one. That pick and roll with Ray Turner has been sensational. And head coach David Hogan, in his first year in the job, has done a sensational job to get them in the championship game.
When did you see them? Early in the year, it was like around, it was week 7 or 8, I don't know.
6, I think it was around 8.
Yeah, it was quite early. And talk a little bit about that game, because you got over them and you were missing some key guys.
Yeah. Coach and Walker, and I think also Tommy Wright had 3-on-3 obligations. So coming into that game, it's, and Turner saw 26 and 16 against us. Burton had 16 and 5, Muo out 15 and 4. So Turner is, he's a problem for guys in this league. And he's not somebody that you walk out onto the court and, beat your chest out and say, oh, I got him one-on-one. No, if you got to double this guy, you double it, get it out of his hands and force somebody else to make plays. And we left a lot of one-on-one and then tried to force some of the other guys to make decisions on that team. But living with 26 and 16 in a grand final from that guy, that's not something that we're going to look to do. But it's one of the games where the weapons that we look to dissect with what they have, I'm looking from them in a perspective, how you scout us. If Tommy's on, can get you 25 any night, Simon can get you 25 any night, I can get you 25 any night. It's when you scout for one thing and then all of a sudden we just hit you with something else. And then once we hit you with something else and then go back to what works for us, it's just we can take teams out of their system so well, and then we're really good at just about being smart, isolating some guy. We're going to do everything we can to contain Turner, contain Burton, contain Muo, and then, Hogan and Hansen, you're going to have to beat us. So
Hansen's had a good final series, I will say that as well.
Shooting it really well. You talk about Turner being a problem. You mentioned Muo there a couple of times, but he was an issue for you guys in the championship game last year, finals MVP. What kind of a challenge does he present? Is he the best ISO player in the league?
Best ISO player? No. Best ISO player, I think, honestly, is Isaac Turner. in terms of squaring you up with the ball in his hands and what he can do to create his own shot. I think Isaac Turner is the best isolation player, but Mual because of his length. I think, if I'm guarding one-on-one, I got a little more confidence, squaring up on Mual. And then the thing that we had in the championship game is we switched up our defensive philosophy and we put me basically on Mual, and I haven't guarded many threes all season. Have the ability to, but, I'm used to guarding specific type of screeners, and I was guarding him coming off a ton of cuts. And he got into a lane a lot, and it was the rotations just kind of threw him off of a loop, and then, we couldn't shoot it at all that game. So kind of trying a defensive philosophy didn't really work too well for us, but, we'll come into a game with a better mindset this one.
The women's game at 5, the men's at 8 this Saturday night, tickettech.com.au, and geographically, both obviously to the State Basketball Centre, both Kilsyth and Nunawading are closer. Do you think there'll be some small amount of home court advantage? Now, Geelong and Bendigo fans travel, and we do know that as well, but do you don't have to travel as far? Do you think that home court advantage might just be yours?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I know we do have a lot of fans from Kilsyth coming along, so, hopefully it'll be in our favour.
And what do you reckon, Dain? Nunawading fans give you the voice?
Oh, yeah. It's, the amount that we're going to have coming, just from everybody we're going to have a nice home court advantage. So, although it's a neutral site, we're expecting it to be loud in our favour.
Although you had that last year. They were boisterous last year in Hobart.
Right? Thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Hey, I'm just saying, there is no home court advantage in this game.
Yeah, no, true. Hey, Lauren played in the losing grand final last year as well. You want to bring that up as well?
Oh, thanks for bringing that up.
No.
It still stings a little bit.
Your grand final was a lot more entertaining than our grand final. Your grand final was a track meet.
These guys both played in losing grand finals last year. It's very relevant. Now, Lauren individually, but this whole team, there's a massive chip on that shoulder for how that and then the fact that Muo is in this game adds a whole nother element.
All right. Once we get through this weekend, of course, NBL1 awards on Sunday as well. Tickettech.com.au to get you tickets at Bond Nightclub. Are you going Sunday?
Yes.
Well, you're in the MVP nominees, which we'll get to shortly, so you kind of have to be there probably. You going Sunday, Dain?
Probably. I'll be there.
Probably. Okay. Liam, you're going to be there. But before we get to all of that, I got a singlet today, and I actually thought it was for me to wear, but apparently it's not. Of course, today in Hobart, it was announced that the NBL1 All-Stars team. There you go, covering the face is probably a smart move.
That's nice.
It is a very nice jersey, very similar to. And I'm not. Do you want to wear this one, or you want me to get you one with your own number on it? Because I know Dain's in the team. There was
okay. You're going to announce that? All right, yeah.
You know you're in. There you go, mate. There you go. Team manager told me to pass that on. It was announced today, of course, the NBL1 All-Stars team will play at the NBL Blitz in Tassie in a couple of weekends. They'll take on the Brisbane Bullets and the Cairns Taipans. And Dain, congratulations on it as well. And put together a pretty good crew to get down there and take on the NBL teams as well.
We got the team?
I'm waiting for it. There it is.
Okay.
So I was going to have to talk to next Wednesday. That's a good squad. You got some good teammates on there, Dain.
Absolutely. I thought you were passing it on to him.
No, I'm going to pass to you.
No, so, the guys that we got...
I'll change the question. Who are you most looking forward to that you haven't played with that you're going to spend in the locker room a little bit of time with here?
Played with Gatlin in the Streetball Madness last year, Bozeman and some Melbourne United some of the games. So a lot of these guys have actually, Barker kind of in the same thing. Oh, no, sorry, my bad, Lucas. I thought it said Lucas Barker. That's Lockin Barker. A lot of these guys, it's good actually going in there with having some familiarity between them, that you already know some tendencies, you already know some strengths and weaknesses, that it's not just a group of guys thrown together that got to figure one another out. So, no, it's just I'm excited looking for this group, get on the court and having a run with them.
How are you feeling about this opportunity against these NBL teams?
Man, as a competitor of the game, I still love it. It hasn't been an ultimate goal of mine. I run my own business outside of it as a player development program, and I run a basketball academy. But that itch to, prove yourself as an athlete, if I was an Australian citizen, I guarantee you I could make a team right now in the NBL. But considering the quality of imports that they're bringing out, the background and resumes of guys that you have coming into this league as an import, you got to be something special. And what I bring to a game in terms of size, physicality, strength, and talent, there's a lot of 6'9", white Australian dudes that can do what I do. So in terms of what they're looking for to bring in as an import, I know the biggest thing with me, and I had some feedback about it, was my consistency of shooting and transitioning from kind of that 4 to 3. And that's what I made a big emphasis on this year, was making sure that, I can prove myself that, if I'm considered as an undersized, whatever in the league, that you can transition me from one to the next and guard multiple positions. So I'm going in there with intent to prove. Whether I get a contract out of it or not, it's not the ultimate goal, but I'm going to prove that, some of these teams that may have looked over me in the past, take a second chance.
You talk about Australian citizenship. Mm-hmm. Is there paperwork in?
I'm working on it. It's a long process. So it's just...
You've been here a while.
Not yet, but I haven't been here long enough in terms of actually getting the process pushed through. But
Okay.
I know there's the New Zealand guy. I know there's some of them.
Ty Wesley? No.
Yeah, I know there's Wesley's got
Wesley did.
but I think that part of being
He's an import now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Ray Turner,
Yeah.
that question is around him, and NBL teams are waiting for him to get those papers done. Jeremy Kendall, that's been the thing with him over the last couple of years, and he was going to get a spot this year as an import, but certainly in the same boat. And I reckon with your play this season and what you could potentially do here, if those papers were signed, sealed and delivered.
Anybody got a friend in the government, an immigration
Liam, look at
agency?
you.
Man, get me going.
Oh, wow.
I had a friend in immigration once, but didn't end that well, so we'll see. We'll talk another
All
time.
right.
You're sitting next to a trailblazer, actually, because if you need any help or advice in this situation, Liam Santamaria played in the Siebel All-Star team that played in the NBL.
It was a Big
Blitz.
V All-Star.
Big V
at the
All-Star.
Blitz in Cairns many moons ago.
Don't know how
How'd you
that
go?
one.
We didn't get many wins.
No?
What do you mean by many?
Any.
There you go.
How many did you play? We got the 2. How many did you play?
I think we played 3, maybe 4. It was over maybe more of a week.
How much of their full roster is expected to be there? Is there any idea or any inclination? Throwing questions at you guys now.
Look, obviously in a situation such as the Brisbane Bullets, they've got Sobey and Glidden who are going to be on in Boomers and World Cup duty, so you would think that they may not be there. With Cairns, you probably think...
They'll be wrapped up by then.
Yeah,
but
they'll
they
be
might
wrapped
be
up, but
rested.
I'm not certain they will play.
Yeah.
But yet again, those boys will probably come back and ready to get it straight into the NBL action anyway, considering the season's only a couple of weekends after it. So the idea of the NBL Blitz is to be in a situation where you're ready to go come round one. So you think they're going to be as strong as they can possibly be at that time?
Yeah, and I think there's a bunch of guys on this team that look at this as an opportunity to do exactly what Dain just said and make a bit of a statement as I could be a guy that you could call up midway through the season if you need an injury replacement. Right, and this is what happened with Jerry Evans Jr. a couple of years ago with Cairns and Jeremy Kendall and the like. Damon Bozeman and Gatlin and Burton, those
Turner was a development
Isaac
player.
Turner, for sure. The one I'm really excited to see in a bit of a different vein is Lachlan Barker, who seemed to be right on the edge of getting an NBL spot. A lot of teams looking at him as a DP and sitting in the stands with coaches and assistant coaches and GMs at the Next Gen camp recently. He was one of the names that people were pointing at and being like, he's ready, or at least nearly ready.
Huge opportunity. Can't wait to see it. All right, before we do wrap it all up, NBL1 awards on Sunday. Lauren, you're in the top 20 for the MVP voting as well, so you'll win it, I assume? You're predicting yourself?
I don't know about that. I think I'm going to back Kelly Wilson on this one.
Yep.
She'll be tough to beat.
All right, how about at the men, Dain? We spoke a little bit about it, and the voting process is 3, 2 and 1 from the coach and the ref after every single game. So it's essentially like a Brownlow vote, and that's where the top 20 names and the finalists. Maybe we could probably just trim it down to 8 or 10, but 20 is the names there, and we'll find out on Sunday who wins it. Dain, so you probably missed some games for that rib injury that you had last time you were actually in the NBL1 studio talking a little bit about it. Who do you think wins the men's for you?
Teammate Simon Kahn, without question. Finds a way to make himself available. 20 games throughout the year, close to 620 minutes played, averaging 21 points, close to 11 rebounds a game, back-to-back grand finals. I mean, if you justify somebody else taking it aside him, I'd love to hear your argument.
Liam, you already had a go at me when I said Dain Pinot at the halfway point of the year, so I'm happy with that.
He's not winning it. Is this?
Who's Simon Conn or Dain Pinot?
Dain Pinot.
Okay.
Is this public? Has this been announced, this list of 20?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so I don't know if I'm allowed to start throwing out
it's
everybody
just on the
else.
screen.
Okay.
So
Oh, is it? I'm looking down here.
I'm guessing it's public.
My bad. Do you know what? There's no other Nunawading player on that list.
I know.
There's no other
with
Nunawading
ya.
player in the top 20 vote getters,
Yep.
which is a bit of an outrage. Dain's
It's not an outrage. I only played 16 games on the year,
That means
16 is...
and quite a few I did not play up to standard. First half of the season,
You've had
I
a
was
great
in
year.
form.
You should have got some more votes, clearly. But this tells me that Simon Conn's going to win. They got, like you said, 14 wins. He is an absolute rock. He played 20 games. He'll get some votes, even in some losses. And I think Ray Turner will probably come second in the votes, leading the league in scoring, and 12 boards a game. But they didn't win enough games, I don't think. 11 wins in the regular season.
This is where all these MVP votings, if you were to switch like basically an MVP award and then a Player of the Year award, you know, somebody that's like it's what you do in the NBA. The most valuable player to the league every single year is LeBron, but he doesn't always have the best season. You know, like the best talent on this list, you know, probably Ray Turner. You know, yes, I would agree with that. So
you're saying if the MVP vote was done like it is in the NBA and sort of like it is in the NBL now, where you look back on the season as a whole, it's not game by game, think Ray Turner wins?
If you look at the full body of work, I mean, the guys on this list, you know, the people that really put up some serious numbers and just passed the eyeball test in terms of, okay, that guy, I mean, he's a player. I mean, Jerry Evans Jr., I mean, he can play. Barker had an outstanding year. Pazaglu, I mean, he was even one that turned up a lot from what he did last year. But, I mean, if I'm looking through this list and guys that we played against that caused us the most problems are guys that we really got to plan and scout for, but then got it done. I mean, Turner, Simon Kahn, everybody knows. It's his biggest thing. He doesn't look the part, but it doesn't matter. When I was at Frankston 5 years ago, one of the first things on the scout was don't let his looks fool you. He's going to give you 25 and 15 if you don't take him seriously. And, you know, you look at a league like this full of young talent and you've got, you know, the old veteran that finds a way to stay healthy and then still averages 20 and 11 through the season with all the up-and-coming talent. And, you know, it's just, although he may not look the part, he is still the best big in the league.
Lauren, you think Kelly's going to win MVP. We think you're going to come at least second, if not first. Who do you think gets the third most votes on the year?
It's a hard one. Probably Loz Scherf.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe. Yeah, I think she was pretty solid all year for Knox. I know she had a couple big games in there as well.
Steph Reed killed it.Ezzy McGregor, too. WNBA draft pick.
How many games did Ezzy play, or how many did she miss?
Oh, that's could
I
come
think she
into play.
missed quite a few.
One of the Ringwood women will be quite high up there as well, I think. There's only two in there, I think.
Yeah, who's in for
Emily Maley, didn't she average like 16
too.
rebounds on the
And
season?
they won a lot of games.
I know they didn't win a game, but
Emily, yeah, they didn't win many games, so that one's
All right.
hard.
it's a serious list to look through. But
Yes, might get some votes.
She will definitely get... I don't think they won enough games in the end, though.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we were looking back on the year, actually, Liam. People would come visit us, and then the team would struggle a little bit. So hopefully that isn't the case. I also hope that
That'll be Bendigo Geelong.
my prediction that Deontay Burton would drop a 50 in the second half of the year.
No.
I hope for your sake, Dan, doesn't come true.
No, well, he started playing the point.
I know, it makes it a little bit harder.
His dimes jumped up.
Okay, no one's asking these. Well, I'll ask who will win the men.
Nunawading.
Yeah, and who will win the women?
Come on.
Kilsyth. I gotta go Kilsyth.
I like that. All right, tips,
My first team I came out and played.
Yeah.
I did play for Kilsyth back in 2014, so
go.
I got
Love the
some.
confidence.
I got some history back there. So yeah, absolutely.
for you.
Well, I think Geelong will win.
I knew you were going to say that.
Kilsyth are in tremendous form, but Geelong have been the form team all year, and I think they're primed to get it done.
And the men's?
Nunawading.
Straight out.
Straight out. Comfortably.
Momentum's not for anything. For Kilsyth and Bendigo, who probably had more momentum. No? Not even thinking about it at all?
Well, the momentum.
Well, Bendigo had momentum.
Every
We
team
played
in the
3
grand
games
final
in season 2.
won their last game.
That's true.
themselves
All right.
into the grand
Okay.
final.
We had that 3-part, round 2. We didn't get that break, so we're carrying just as much as momentum. So
I also believe...
If Bendigo get up,
Oh, here we go.
if they do, and David Hogan wins the championship in his first year, and in his brother's final game,
They should
after
retire
being
together, go out on
absolute-
top.
That would be
would be.
pretty good.
It would be.
Yeah.
Hey, Simon Conn's 300th as well. Like,
It
to play
is.
300 at any level of sport anywhere around the world is
Yeah.
amazing, and the way that he's gone about it and the season he's had is really touched on, so no doubt about it. All right, before we get out of here, how long would it take you to eat 1.2 kilos of steak?
Jesus, man.
What do you reckon?
10 minutes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It took him about 8 minutes. I see on his Instagram story, man. What, 1.2 kilos of steak? That's a typical Sunday, is it?
I
Is that
don't
on
know.
your Instagram?
Yeah.
It's
Not a full,
What's
kind
the
of.
story then?
It's not a full intermittent fasting type thing, but I've recently switched up a bit of kind of my diet and my intake. It's not a straight carnivorous type diet, but I don't eat like 5-6 meals throughout the day.
Okay.
It's a lot of people talk about. You got all that nutrition stuff. Yeah. I'm on my feet from pretty much 6 a.m. until close to 6 p.m. at night, 4.5 to 5 days a week. I'm always training kids. I'm always active. I'm burning like 5,000 calories a day. I got to get my calorie intake. I got to get it back in.
You don't need to defend yourself.
I can justify that.
You know what my favourite thing about it was? My favourite thing about it, I love steak. It's my favourite food in the whole world. I loved you didn't even wait for it to put on a plate before you're eating it. It was on the chopping board you were munching down.
That's a habit. I like cooking it. You let it, again, you got to know how to cook it, and then you leave it. You don't touch it for a while. Man, I'll get next week, and then you'll see it. I'll get probably like a 2-kilo Wagyu steak. I'll cook that, and I'll tag you in it.
Tag me in it.
I'll have you over. We're in the grand final, and I'll have you over some Wagyu steaks.
Please.
Hey, mate, we're talking.
There you go. Change from my KFC McDonald's style, which I normally eat. All right, we're now looking towards Saturday night, 5 p.m. It is Kilsyth in Geelong and the women's side of it on KO Sports as well as at NBL1 on YouTube. And 8 p.m. will be Nunawading and Bendigo. Myself, Liam, Santamaria, and Mark Worthington's going to be joining us in the commentary team as well. So it is going to be a huge Saturday night. Just like it's been a big year. Is this the
final NBL1 show? Cam, if it is, kudos to you, mate. Holding it down on the NBL1 show all year. Did a great job.
We went to Vegas for 3 weeks. So big shout out to me and Huswade and Mark Worthington.
And all the guests.
All the guests
coming in. They've been coming in mostly, not this week as much, but mostly during work hours and sacrificing, moving their schedule around.
I did the numbers as well. Out of the 36 teams that play, 18 in the men's and 18 in the women's, you motivated 34 of them. The only two you didn't motivate was probably the...
Spectres.
There you go in Kilsyth. No, Kilsyth is still dirty on you, don't worry about
Probably
that.
Geelong.
There you go. All right, it's going to be a wonderful game. Well, games on Saturday night. Enjoy it. Good luck, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Good. Thanks for having us.
Been on behind the scenes. NBL1 show has been fun. Can't wait to do it again next year. See you on Saturday night.